It's AC. It's my friend Kurt. It's a new year. Let's talk youth ministry.
And this guy. And sorry.
I apologize.
I couldn't resist. Here's why I couldn't resist. You know Steve, our children's pastor, Steve Adams. One of his pet peeves is when anybody equates children's ministry to puppets. He hates that stereotype. He hates balloon animals and puppets. That's what he thinks children's ministry gets stereotyped as: balloon animals and puppets. This place, we're in this children's ministry area. There's puppets for days in here. There's puppet everywhere you look. There's
pretty good one.
This is an awesome, like Cookie Monster, kinda maybe. I don't know. You want him out for this show or put it away?
Yeah, that's
put it away.
I think he has another job to do. All right, that's a minute of people's time.
Okay, all right.
With a puppet.
Speaking of a minute of people's time.
Yeah.
New rules, AC.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. The alarm is going to buzz. People will hear it.
Yeah.
And we are done.
And we have a timer.
We are done at 20 minutes because we've been going 25. We've been going 30.
Yeah.
Abusing people's time. People don't need anything over 20 minutes. They got a real world, a real life, real problems, real friendships, right? Real jobs. We're just hanging out in the cabin.
Exactly.
So, 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Okay. All right. I don't even know what we're doing today. We're going to work our way continually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to give us, we're going to cut it down to 3 so that we can meet our point and still kind of like get a great discussion in. So,
by the way, today we're talking about just what we want to talk about. We're working our way through these things.
Yeah.
We would always love to have a viewer-generated question or a viewer-generated topic.
Yep.
So you can email us a specific youth ministry question or a more general topic to talkyouthministry@gmail.com. Talkyouthministry@gmail.com. Also, there's a little thing here. You can subscribe. It's scrolling. It's popping up someplace. You can subscribe and get this little video podcast delivered straight to you.
I got leaves in my jacket.
Where were you? Oh, we came in. It's because we came in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a tree.
There's a tree on the side of this, inside the building.
Yeah.
Children's is awesome.
Children's is all over. Okay, so we're working our way through some of my 25 tips from 25 years I've taught here and there. So in no particular order, we talked about a few of them. Here's one, as I would say this. And this isn't just a youth ministry tip. You know, when I teach this workshop, I just talk about stuff I've learned over the years. Yeah. Some of it is very youth ministry specific. Some of it's more leadership specific, and some of it is just sort of life specific.
Yeah.
But it rears its ugly head in youth ministry all the time, and that is comparing.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I've learned over the years is just the comparison game is a killer.
Yeah.
That you never win when you compare. And we have a tendency as humans to compare.
Innate ability.
And as youth ministries and youth ministers, we compare like crazy.
Yeah.
In our own church, we compare the youth budget to the children's budget. Yeah. Right? I mean, the children's ministry at our church has, I don't know how many square feet this is. It's bigger than my house. Yeah. Their studio is bigger than my house.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have a studio. We have one green room. Yeah. It's not even a green room or a green, what's that called?
Green wall.
A green screen, but it's just a wall that we painted in somebody's office. We went to somebody's office and said, hey, half of your office has to be green so we can have a green screen, right?
Exactly.
Now, somebody hearing this is going, wait, they've got a youth ministry office?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a never-ending thing, and you never win when you compare.
You lose.
You compare budgets, you compare youth facilities, you compare my speaking gifts to your speaking gifts, or, wow, his wife seems to be way more involved in the youth ministry than my wife, or his kids seem to respect him way more than my kids. And this comparison thing is just this snowball that gets out of control.
I think the it's kind of like almost like cancer. It's a slow killer,
right?
Because you do it kind of like starts off unconsciously. It starts off with an unconscious effort, right? Like oh man, we need to be better at this. We need to be better at that.
So it can start off almost with good motives, is what you're saying.
Start off with good motives, but then you end up kind of burning people out because your expectations of that person is based on what you saw at somewhere else.
Right.
And they're a volunteer or they're part-time and they can't meet those.
Well, it's what Doug Fields always used to say, and he probably still does. I don't know if it's his line or his wisdom, but it's awesome. We typically are guilty of comparing what we know about ourselves with what we think we know about the other person, right?
Yeah.
So I'm comparing my speaking skills because I know my weaknesses. I know where I struggle. And I'm comparing them to yours, but I don't see your struggle.
Yeah.
I don't see,
your preparation,
or your bad days,
or
because I only see you speaking at camp or whatever, and you're really good because that's your best message that you've taught at 20 other camps, right? So I compare what I know about myself, what I don't know about you. We look at what we know about our youth ministry and our budget and our lack of space, and then we look at the music department. And it seems as if, I don't have access to the music department's budget.
Yeah.
So I just make these assumptions where I think I know about them, right? And my mind goes to all these crazy places that it just shouldn't.
You just don't know.
And when you compare, you lose.
I think on the other side is you compare to, in terms of like speaking or whether someone engages with students better than you, it can become more damaging to you also when you play that comparison game. But you don't know the person's prep for talk. You don't know how many hours. You just think, oh, this is all, they just got up there and just freestyle.
Right.
I would say highly unlikely they got up and just freestyle.
Right.
Now, if they've been speaking for a long time, it may be easier for them to go in that way. But I can guarantee you there's a lot of prep in a person who gets up and seems like they speak effortlessly.
Right.
And so don't compare yourself because you feel a little inadequate in that area and you see somebody that's great because you just don't know their comparator. The best thing to do is go and say, man, you were great. Right. How do you prepare your message? Yep. Because then you'll grow instead of you'll grow healthy and you'll grow as a better speaker than just grow bitter.
Yeah.
So,
and we do it in. I can't say we for everybody. I mean, I struggle with it a lot. I think we do it all the time. You know, I see somebody drive. I see somebody who I think kind of is in my life stage or whatever. They're driving a way nicer car, right? And I compare. I go, well, hey, at least I'm not in debt.
Yeah.
Right. At least, hey, you know, my car's a piece of crap, but at least I'm not in debt. I don't have a car payment. I feel better about myself. Then I find out, oh, his father-in-law bought him that car. Yeah. He's not dead either. Oh, crap. Yeah. Crap. Well, I don't have a father-in-law who buys me cars. Yeah. Right? So now I'm comparing another aspect.
You always lose.
And so you always lose. So quit comparing. Yeah. Okay. Another lesson I learned is this, it's about them, not me. It's about them, not me. What I mean about that is youth ministry. It sounds like a no-brainer, but I think it's a good reminder, is youth ministry is about youth, right? Camp is for the campers. Midweek is for the midweekies. Yeah. Small group is for my small group guys. Last night, our 7th grade small group, if my co-leader and myself judged it on what we would have liked to have communicated or made sure we got across, it would have been a failure.
Or done that night.
If you asked our 7th grade boys last night, it was probably one of our best life groups yet. Yeah. Because we have really made a conscious effort to go, okay, it's not about us wanting to power through the curriculum. Yeah. Us wanting to make sure they're treating each other as godly young men should, which is important. Yeah. But it's us going, okay, what did they need? Yeah. What did they want to get out of this 90 minutes? And so when we can just have this attitude of, hey, how do I serve students? Our lessons, it shouldn't be what do I want to teach? What's God teaching me so I can turn around and teach them? Because God should be teaching me something way different than what a 7th or 8th or 12th grade teenager needs to hear. Abraham Lincoln, classic quote, I'll butcher it. It's a classic quote, but I'm going to butcher it. He said something like this, that when he got ready to give a speech, he spent 75% of his time thinking about what do they want to hear, and 25% of his time thinking about what do I want to say.
Yeah.
Because he knew the key to being a good leader is to give people, at some level, what they want.
Yeah.
Or what you know they intrinsically need,
Yeah.
not just what you want to give them.
Yeah.
I don't
what
want
they want to hear.
Yeah. I don't want to teach Friendship
balance.
101
Yeah.
ever again. Friendship 101, I've been teaching that for 26 years. But junior hires always need to hear Friendship 101.
It's like when you look at your teaching calendar and you're like, we need something new. You know, you're feeling,
yes,
we need something new.
Yes.
Even for our leaders, like, man, what can we teach them that they don't know? And you're like, wait a minute. They're dealing with students year after year. And then there is a break in between. Camp is only one time a year.
Right.
They forget what camp is like.
Right.
They forget that they need to be geared up for students who are going to be in their space for a whole entire week. They need to be geared up for small groups. They need to be geared up to know that that lesson is coming around every single week. So you need to set aside some time to plan. And they need to know that every single year. But sometimes you can totally get to a point where you're like, well, I just think they need something new. And sometimes that's true. But at the same time, you need to make sure that it's not from a place of, because I'm tired of saying the same thing.
And even the new,
or teaching the same thing.
The new should be driven by how has teenage culture changed?
Yeah.
How have our particular kids grown?
Yeah.
You know, what new do they really truly want and need? Not just because I want something new. High school ministry, really? HSM is, at Saddleback, we could have 4 summer camp themes, 4 summer camp sets of lesson, and just rotate them every 4 years.
Yeah.
Junior high could have 2, but every year we want something new. Right?
Yeah.
Every year we need
something new, something fresh. And you're like, and you have to be careful because, especially in your teaching calendar, because kids need to know that image isn't everything. That's like, image is huge. They want to look the part so that they can get the benefits that society says, that a commercial says, if I wear Axe body spray, they're going to be random, not just girls my age, but older college girls who have nothing else to do but stand around in skimpy outfits and cling to me.
Yeah.
So I need to go get this Axe body. So you go there and you smell Axe body spray like crazy. Well, students need to know that image isn't everything and what you see on TV isn't real.
And you might be tired of writing curriculum or teaching lessons on image.
Yeah.
But they need to hear it on a somewhat regular basis, right? Because it's about them. It's not about us. One of the youth ministries, and I can only speak to the junior high ministry, that I really admire from a distance, I'm not comparing, but one of the ones I admire from a distance is North Point. And North Point's junior high ministry is kicking butt and taking names. I mean, they're doing some amazing stuff. And I'm convinced one of the reasons they're doing such great stuff is because they are very, very comfortable with a little bit of a system. They have this 3-year system that hardly ever changes because they've created a 3-year system that is perfectly designed for middle school kids. And they just work the system, and then they start and they work the system, and they start and they work the system, and they change some things and tweak some things, but they have created what middle school audience needs and responds to and likes. And the players, the leaders could change, and that system would stay right in place and be perfect for their audience.
I think that's a great tip for new youth workers. Or if you're just getting in the youth ministry and you're just set something up and will it. And just continue to do it because you're going to get great at it. I think sometimes we miss when we change and we shift. The new is always, it feels good at the beginning. But the dividends, you don't yield the dividends that you think you're going to yield because it hasn't been worked enough, and you haven't worked out all the kinks, and you haven't been in that place.
By the time we finally get dialed in, we want to move on to something new.
We want to move on to something else ourselves. But if you look at the ministry, if you look at your students, your new set of students are dealing with the same issues as your old set of students. Now, it's okay to be, I would say, to look at what you're doing and freshen it up. kind of like North Point, make tweaks to what you're doing to make it better. But I would say, man, if you could stay in some type of system for a minute and work it and really allow it to make you a better youth worker, make the ministry a little bit, kind of run autopilot a little bit, have that feeling of autopilot. I think it sets a foundation that says we know exactly where students have the potential to be.
And think about this. Think of how much time the North Point leaders save, time they don't waste trying to be creative. Yeah. So now all this time of reinventing, they can use other places, right? They can grow their ministry in other ways. They can focus on other things because they know, hey, our system is in place. Yep. It's the basic question of, do I want to be creative or effective? Exactly. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, do I want to be creative or effective? Effective ministry says, what does the audience need? How can I create systems and things to just constantly give them what they need? Yeah. Creative says, I gotta be always new, doing something new. I gotta be edgy, and that's those two don't always go hand in hand. Okay, right, we got 2.5 minutes. What's the last one?
Don't overthink, but think.
Don't overthink, but think.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
That's your favorite one, and we've got 2 minutes to talk about it. Here's the thing: is I think a lot of us in youth ministry, we overthink things. Yeah. We overthink our lessons. We overthink our training meetings. We overthink all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Youth ministry at the end of the day is adults who love Jesus walking alongside teenagers and pointing them to Jesus. I mean, at the end of the day, that doesn't take a whole lot of critical thinking. It doesn't take a whole lot of theological chops to be an adult who loves Jesus, walk alongside a teenager, and point that teenager to Jesus. Yeah. It's more simple youth ministry than we make it. However, you do got to think a little bit, right? Yeah. You got to think about the jokes I'm going to tell. How is this going to be perceived? Yeah. Is this game appropriate? For one of the things we constantly work on in our youth ministry is even just like when we're calling students up on stage. Yeah. What kind of outfit is the girl wearing that we're going to ask to sit in this chair? And now, we put her in a weird situation because she's wearing a skirt, or a girl's wearing a white top and she might get wet with a water balloon, or a boy, whatever, a non-athletic boy we pick to bring up for the most athletic game. You got to think, but don't overthink it.
I would say rule of thumb is, again, kind of tying with the it's about them, not me. When you have to, don't overthink it, because they are high schoolers and so think high school. Right. And if you go back to your high school years, where you were, you needed to know some things at the high school level. Right. I used to hear things at the year. I don't know what it means to have kids, because I don't have in high school. I didn't have kids. Right. So sometimes when we make comparisons, you leave me completely, because I'm struggling with school. I'm struggling with academics.
Yeah. And my youth pastor is telling stories about raising his third grader.
Or his job at General Motors. Right. I don't understand that. Now, of course, some principles overlap, but don't overthink it, because I'm still in high school and I need stuff that's going to apply to when I go back to school and have to deal with the bully. Yeah. Or where do I fit in, or stuff like that.
Or something like, I want to take our teenagers deeper this year. I want to take our teenagers deeper. Well, don't overthink it. Yeah. Like, going deep isn't as tough as we think it is.
I would say remove that word deep.
Oh, please, thank you. That should be remove the word deep. We'll talk about that.
And just use growth. I think growth is a better word, not deep.
Yes, deep is very confusing. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Hey, our buzzer went off.
Yes.
All right.
We love you guys.
Send us a question or a topic. Let's talk youthministry@gmail.com. You're awesome. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.